Today I want to do a quick process recap and reflection on the free write video, and then I'll announce this week's challenge at the end. I started with a couple basic elements in my head. I wanted to include both fiddle and mandolin, as I haven't had a chance to feature either of those yet. I also assumed cello would be on the track at some point as well. This week I had songs stuck in my head from Darlene Side's Extra Life album. They are masters of lush falsetto harmonies and vibrant textures. This inspired the mandolin and guitar brushing technique.
Someday she'll go by above the mountains caving in. There's holy water lying in the crater well.
So the first thing I did was record these brushy textures along with some finger-picked guitar. Immediately I found myself in the same compromising position that I found myself in the Found Sounds challenge, when I was stuck with a ton of samples and no structure onto which to use them. Learning from my past mistake, that night I listened in my head for the sounds and energetic feel that I wanted to hear in the song. The quick notes I took were tabla and mando, subtle and growing, string swell for 4 beats, then space, then cello pitch, boom boom, string swell for 4 beats, tape out, and tape out. This is in reference to the effect of stopping a tape and it creates a pitch dive. I didn't end up using that, but it was in my head at the moment. And then I took a note to transition to Irish fiddle, and I actually wrote down some notes for a melody that was in my head. Then I thought about doubling it with flute. I wrote cello enters, playing A section, B section, then lower strings breakdown with tabla solely, then new guitar melody higher up enters over even more broken down pulsing cello and tabla, and then I wrote down notes for a new melody. At the end I wrote, under this, bar long swell notes, they become anticipatory line with cello, then violin ending, and then I referenced an artist's song. The artist is Askir, and the song Afterglow. Ending ideas were just this last melody with chime, bowl, and glass sounds, with flute breath textures, and tabla tintal. Tintal is the pattern, 16 beats. Rising up in highness and maybe pitch, finishing with the bayan, that's the low tabla drum. Kakakaboom. You'll see later I made notes in the project of where I have timeline markers, and I wrote kakakaboom at certain points in the song, and you can probably hear it if you listen again. I'm lucky to have developed perfect pitch before I even started, as I started violin, all in thanks to listening to my brother practice for 3 years. During that time I was only banging on my dad's guitar. So when I finally started the violin, it was only a matter of months before I realized I had memorized the pitches of the open notes. And I also had noticed some color association or synesthesia. Because of this, I now found it really easy to translate sounds that I hear in my head to actual performance. I never know how exactly my ideas will translate, but at least it gives me something to start with and adjust later. So once I had my basic sound and energy concepts, I went into my project the next day with my metronome, and I mapped out a timeline where I thought different elements should come in and out. These were my notes. Bar 1, tabla and mando in. Bar 4, violin swell. Bar 5, boom boom. Bar 7, swell. Bar 8, cello boom. Bar 11, tape effect. Bar 13, kakakaboom. A part in. Bar 21, B part. Bar 29, flute and violin, quick A. Bar 32, cello already in for A part. Bar 37, B section, cello. This is all in reference to the first melody that we hear. 45 is the D songs. That's where there's a key change and the cello enters. Bar 49, there's guitar and mando in. They join in on the melody. Bar 53, first B, and then bar 57, second B section, and then bar 60, the last note. So this was before, I had only recorded the brushy textures at this point, and I had realized I needed some structure, so I just kind of mapped it on my head, listening along with the metronome, imagining things coming in and out, and that's when I took these notes. As far as the tabla goes, the pattern I played includes elements from different pieces that I learned while studying at UCLA. I was really curious to hear how the tones of the tabla would mix with the cello. They're both so unique and happen to occupy very similar parts of the sound spectrum. I haven't been practicing as much over the past few years, so it was refreshing to get back on them. Full disclosure, I did have to record at 80% speed in order to retain accuracy. And in the end, I was extremely pleased with how the tones of the tabla pumped the track along, especially during the cello solo. On a different note, I've chosen to restructure the format of my releases. Instead of 3 separate videos each week for the challenge announcement, music video, and behind the scenes, they will all be in one video comprised of 3 parts. This will be a lot easier for you to navigate and will help me organize my weekly schedule. So from now on, the videos will start with the music video, then go behind the scenes, and then finish with the challenge announcement for the upcoming week. This week, I'll be arranging Pueblo, Nuevo, a gorgeous song I first heard played by Ruben Gonzalez on Buena Vista Social Club's eponymous album. Originally composed by bassist Israel Cachao Lopez, this danzón has become a standard of the genre. I expect my arrangement to include mandolin, violin, cello, hopefully flute, and perhaps I'll be able to give the percussion a try as well. I'm not trained in Cuban music, but I've yearned to learn the song for years now, and it seems like a great chance to try it out. My friend Yosmel Montejo, who is originally from Cuba and who's been playing with Dust Bowl recently, just released a brilliant album of his own songs and compositions, and it's magnificent. Links are in my description below for further enjoyment. So thank you all for being here with me, and I'll catch you later this week.